Hi guys, this is Jamie from System22 and GreatWebDesign.com, and welcome to this video. Here's a follow-up to our previous how to edit a Bootstrap template. We've had a few requests to do a high def version so you can see the code a little bit better. So that's what we're going to do here. So as we were, say you found a nice Bootstrap template that you like and you want to go ahead and edit it. A lot of people have asked, how do you find a Bootstrap template? Well, just Google free Bootstrap templates and all kind of things will come up. Once you've found a template, download it. It'll be downloaded as a zip file and something like this. Now you need to extract it into the folder that you've got it in. I find it easier to create a new project folder for each project. Once you've extracted it, this is what you're going to get. There's the documentation. I'd have a look at that if I was you, because you want to make sure that it's got a Creative Commons 0 license, so you're free to use it. Now this theme's called cluster, and the actual files that we need are in this cluster folder here. Once you open it, you're going to see this. We've got several folders. That's our CSS, custom style sheets in there. We've got our fonts, that's probably Font Awesome or something like that. We've got images, where the images that are displayed on the site will be. We've got JavaScript, that's where our JavaScript files reside. And we've got PHP, which is the code that is needed to send our contact form. Now the file that we're interested in is the index.html file here, and to open that you need a text editor, and for those of you that have got one, that's great. For those of you that don't, there's an awesome free one at brackets.io. Go ahead and download that, it's really good. It'll open all kinds of files, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, just about any type of file that you need to edit. So if you haven't got one, go ahead and download that one. Once you have downloaded and installed brackets, if you right click on that index file, you'll notice it says you'll have a menu option here that says open with brackets. So go ahead and open it. Once open, this is what we're going to see. It's an HTML5 document here. The language is English and the character set is UTF-8, which is the standard for our English site here. Now you see between the title here, this is the name of the website, so you want to just left click on there and put in the name that you'd like to call your site. So there's a really interesting descriptive title I've put in there. You want to make sure you don't clip off any of these little end arrow tags there or brackets tags there, because that can cause problems for you. You just want to edit the actual white text there. Just down below that you've got the main CSS files here, which CSS is custom style sheet, and that defines the styles for our website, the colors, the font sizes, the padding, etc., and that's all taken care for us. Down below that we've got favicon or favicon, and that's the little badge that you see in your web browser. I'll just show you. And that's a favicon or favicon, and that's one too. So you want to get your little custom thing going there, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so that's the top section explained there. So let's go ahead and have a look what we've got going on with this site. If we go back to our folder and double click on the index.html, it'll open it up in the browser there. So it's got its own little favicon there. So we've got a slider here with various images. Of course, they've got generic images on this theme that we just downloaded, but it tells us that it's 1600 by 600. So that's the size of the image we want to put in there. So let's start at the top here let's start at the top here, and we'll just change that favicon or favicon. I've got one that I've already done, and what we need to do, we'll go into our images folder. If we go back to our file there, and here are all the images. You see here it says icon. This is where our various ones are. I'm just going to do this one. You can repeat the process for all of them, but I've got my own. I've just created it. It's the same size as that one there. You can just load that into your graphic editing software such as Photoshop. And I've just called mine favicon 1. So what we do now is we go back into brackets, and where it says favicon here, it's images, icon, favicon. I'm going to change that to the name of the one we had, which is favicon-1. There it is. It's prompted us for it because it's found it there. And if I hit Ctrl and S, that'll save it. And we'll go back to our site and refresh. And as you can see, that's now put my favicon up there. Okay, next thing we probably want to do here is replace their generic logo with one of our own. If you're not sure what you're doing with padding and what have you, I would suggest that you find out what size this is and do your icon a similar height, because that way the padding will be equal for you. Let's go in there. We just go back to the images there. There's their logo, and you can see it's 143 wide by 23 tall. So I'd create something that was 23 tall. So I created something. So here's one that I created earlier, my logo one. And again, we're just going to go in, we'll find the logo, and I'll replace it with that name there. So if we go back to our brackets, scroll down a bit, and there it is. And we just need to replace that again. Well, if you're trying to find something and you don't want to scroll through all this code looking for it, because it can be a little intimidating if you've not done it before, if you hit Ctrl F, that'll bring up the search box there, and you type in what you're looking for, in our case logo, and what it does, it'll highlight wherever it says logo for you. If there's more instances of it, you'll see a bunch of little yellow lines down the side there. We've only got that one, so that's exactly where we want to be. Okay, so I just need to change that name once again, as we did before, to logo 1, which is the name of my new logo. Hit enter. If you notice up here by the index.html file name, there's a little dot. If you see that little dot up there, that usually means you haven't saved it. So go ahead and hit Ctrl S. That'll get rid of the dot, and it'll also save it. That means you can update refresh your browser to update your settings. If we go back to the site again and do a quick refresh, you'll see now it's got my new logo up there. Okay, next thing we'll do is we'll put a nice image behind this slider here and start working on this slider. So if we go back to our folder, you see that it's got it nicely organized here. We've got our slider images in here. Like I say, you can tell it's 16 by 600 because it says so on it. So I've created a couple of images that are 1600 by 600. I'll just put them in there. Now we need to go back to our brackets and update those images. So if we just go ahead back, we scroll down a little bit more here. I'll just explain what's going on here. We've updated our logo here. And what we've got here, this is our menu, an unordered list here. And here are the list items: home, services, works, pricing, team, contact. And href are the links that tells it where it wants to go once you click on it. So that's taking you to the header, services section, our work section, pricing section. I'll just show you how that works. You see this is scrolling down to the various sections there. That's how that menu is working. So if we go back, and let's replace this image that we've just done here. So down below the menu, we'll see our slider. It's nicely marked there for us, slider. And here's the first image, image 1, second image, and third image. I've only done 2 because there's no point you watching me go through all of this. So if I just change that image name to my new image name, which was 1A and 2A, I believe. So 1A. And 2A. And if we do a quick save, Ctrl S, and back to our site, and a refresh. There we have the image that we just replaced. And there's the second image there. Like I say, I've only done 2 of them, but you just repeat the process to replace the next images. Next thing we're going to want to work on is the text here. And if we go back to our bracket, here's the images we've just changed, and just under there you'll see this div. You see an opening div and a / div, which is a closing div tag. And for every opening div tag, there's always, or should always be, a closing div tag. So to edit our text in there, we want to just highlight the white writing here, being careful not to clip off any of those little blue brackets there, and put in our new text. Obviously you can put in what you want. You want to try and keep it to a similar sort of length as the stuff you've got here, unless you're comfortable editing CSS to make things work again properly. That way you know it's going to work with your slider. So once you've put in what you need to put in there, just hit save, Ctrl S, go back to the new website here, do a refresh, and there it is. There's our new text, nothing to it. Moving on down, all this is just editing text, which we've just covered there. I'll just show you one more time. If we go back to the brackets, once you've done all your slides here, you edit them to your heart's content. If you decide, well, there's 4 slides and I only want 2 slides, you can just select the div that contains the slide and delete it. If I just undo that, you kind of might notice a pattern here. You're going to start noticing it the way there's little patterns here, and each one of these is a slide. And like I said just now, there's an opening div tag and a closing div tag. If you click on the opening div tag in brackets, it'll show you the closing div tag. And basically that's one whole slide right there. So you want to select from there to the closing div tag, delete, and again, delete. And you're just left with 2 slides there. We'll just do a quick save, back to the site, quick refresh. So now we've only actually got 2 slides. And of course, if you want it the other way around, let's just undo that. So I just hit Control Z or Z, and that undid that, and that put those back in there by doing that. I think that was 2A. I think I might have undone a bit more than I wanted to do, so that's 2A. Save there. If you decide you want more slides, you can do a similar thing. Just from the beginning, select it, Control C to copy, drop down one, Control V to paste, and it's added another slide underneath, so you can put some more information and what have you there. Quick save, back to our site, quick refresh, Hopefully that second image should be back in there now. Yep, there we go. And we've got 2 extra slides there. Of course, it's hard to tell because they both say they're those generic images. And again, this is all text. I've just shown you how to edit text, but let's go down there. So we're moving past our slider section there. Now here's the services section. Again, it's nicely marked in this one. You can call it what you want by just simply editing that text. Again, be careful, don't clip off those little blue brackets there. Just edit the white text. Okay, so here's our text. Let's say, I'm just going to change this for effect, our design. Control S to save, back to the site. Now that should change to our design. Yep, there we go. Now you see these little icons here. Those are what they call Font Awesome, and they're bundled with this site in that little fonts folder. At least I believe they're Font Awesome. Let's check those. It should say FA. Yeah, FA. There we go. See, H2 icon class FA, which stands for Font Awesome, and that is the actual icon that we want displayed there. I'll show you how to change those. Font Awesome is awesome. It's well named. They're just fonts that you can use in your web design. So if we go back to our browser and we'll just Google Font Awesome cheat sheet. There it is. And that brings up a list of all the fonts that are available in Font Awesome. So to change something, say if we want to change that to a camera, I'm just going to pick the first one I see here. It's FA/camera. You can type it in. I'm just going to go ahead and copy it. We'll go back to our brackets and change that one that was by our design, which we just edited. Now you want to leave the first FA there. You want to leave that there. You just want to change the second bit with the dash there. FA desktop. So we're going to change that to what we just copied, which was the camera, I think, wasn't it? Yep, to FA camera. And again, we'll do a save. We need to do a save. Back to our site. And when we refresh, that should change to a little camera icon. There we are. We just changed it to a camera. And of course, you can just go through, put in your own text and what have you here. When you're editing the text in these little boxes, to keep everything looking nice and straight, you want to try and keep it to a similar amount of lines. Or if you're going to have one with more than the rest, put it on the end there. I'll show you what I mean. I'll just add a couple lines to this, because if this one's longer than that one, the lower ones will not line up quite so nicely. It's just an aesthetic thing. So let's just add another line to this. I'm just going to copy it. It's garbage anyway. It's what they call lorem ipsum, which is filler text that web designers use just for seeing what text will look like in places where they have no text for. And quick save, back to the site. So I've added a line to this. Let's do this. Now you see it's kind of messed things up because it's longer. It's kind of pushed things past there where we wanted them. So if we go back, Control Z to undo that. What I'll do is I'll put it on the next one. And that should be a little easier. We'll see if that works. See, that's done it. It's pushed them all down. It looks a lot better, although we've got more text here. Because it's on the end, these bottom lot are still in line. So that's a way of getting around that. Of course, for those of you that know CSS, you can give these boxes a minimum height, and that will solve this problem. But if you don't, you're just filling in the like we are here. Try and keep them the same length. Or if you're going to have a longer one, just put it on the end there. So you can go through and edit, edit, edit. You know how to edit text now. Again, these are images. just replace your images. We'll do one of these. What is this? This portfolio, our works. Back to our brackets. If we look down at the next section, that's the little filter, and you can change these names if you want to filter, call your filter boxes something different. And what we've got here, you see these patterns again. Each one of these is corresponding to one of those pictures with the overlay there. 1, 2, 3, etc. You know how to do the image. Just put your new image in there, similar size, change your image name, or you can overwrite the ones that are there. It's entirely up to you. That little alt tag, I guess I'll explain that. That's for screen readers and what have you. It'll actually read out what it is that the picture is. So it's a picture of a lady with blue hair. Lady with blue hair. But a lot of people use that alt attribute there for SEO purposes. You can start putting in your keywords and what have you for your site there. It will help browsers rank you a little better for what it is, whatever it is you're trying to rank for, by putting in your keywords as alt tags. Anyway, we're getting a little out of scope here. So that's the image. If you want to change the image right there, I guess we'll go ahead and do one. So let's have a look. These are 800 by 600. I'll quickly make an image. Okay, so let's go to our images folder and just put a new image in there that we'll change. So here's our images folder. Let's have a look, see. Okay, so we know it's in images, works, and the name is portfolio 2. So if we go to our images folder, we're in images, there's works, and these are the portfolios. So let's just put in our own here, 86. Okay, so we've put our new image in there and we know it's called 86. So if we just get rid of this here, being careful not to take off those inverted commas up there or parentheses. Start typing the name of our new one, it'll find it for us, and just click on there, it'll put it in for us. And again, you've got the alt tag that you can fill in if you feel like it. And we need to do the same thing just below, because this is the overlay here, and that's just 86 again, same thing. And do a save, back to our site, and a refresh. Now we have our little image here. So that works quite well. Now what we need to do is change our text. Well, you know how to do that already, but let's just go ahead and do it. We'll just put you know, a paragraph, p tag is a paragraph tag, can be as long as you want it to be, but of course it's got to fit within that 800 by 600 element. So I mean, you can't have too much in there. Let's just stuff a few in there, and you'll see what I mean. I'll do back to our site. So we've changed that. It should say car development and design and development. So let's have a look, see. There's our refresh. So that's changed that. And as you can see, if you've got too much text in there, it's just going to spill over the end. So that's not what we want, really. So if we go back in and delete what we don't want now. There's a font awesome, it's a camera retro on there. Again, you know how to change your font awesome. Just go to your font awesome cheat sheet, choose the one that you want there. You can do a search up the top if you don't know what you want, or you have something in mind. I'll use that little automobile one instead. So let's go there, back to our brackets, and just change the font awesome there. Not the first one, remember, leave the first one. It's just the second one with the dash on it. Do not clip off those little inverted commas there. It will not work. Quick save, back to our site. Refresh. And there you have it. It's changed that to our little car icon. So moving on down, what I was saying before is each of these, this is what's called a selector or a picker, and each one's got a little title there. You can change this to anything that you want again. If I bring them all back up, we'll go back to our brackets. Up the top here, you'll see there's our selectors, and all is obviously all of them. Just put cars. We'll change that to cars. What you can do, you can change, actually change .wordpress, .html to .cars. Now down here, wherever it said WordPress, let's change a few of these to cars. There's another one. Obviously you can put it wherever you want it. Let's change this, and they can be in more than one group, so you can have it in cars and PHP and in Bootstrap, whatever. You just got to make sure it's in a class, and you put it as an attribute here. There's another one. And let's make this one as well. Back to our site, quick refresh. So cars should give us 3 or 4, I think, or even 5. So there we are. That's that. And just to reinforce that, I'll just do another one. HTML, let's make that something else. Back to the top to the picker, or they call it a filter here, which is fine. Let's change HTML to plains and .plains. Okay, and let's change a few of these to plains. I'm just using the HTML that's there, but you can put it in to any one of these as an addition. It'll pop up in that class. Plains. Let's just put it in here. Make sure you've got a space between the attributes there. And plains there. And quick save. Back to our site, a refresh. Now you can see you've got plains there. And that'll bring those ones up that we've added the plains to. Okay, so moving on down. Here we've got pricing tables. Again, this is all text editing. You know how to do that. That's a Font Awesome, I imagine. Where does that sign up button take us? That takes us back to the top. So, I don't know. If I was to click a sign up button, I'd probably want it to take me to my contact section, which is right here. So I'll show you how to edit that button there. Okay, let's go back to our brackets, and moving on down here, there's the pricing. By the way, this particular template was downloaded from Wrap Bootstrap, I believe, one of the free ones. I just did a Google free search. So if you want to use it, it's there. It's called Cluster. Okay, there's our price. No, that wasn't Font Awesome. That was a regular $sign there, so that's fine. Here again, you can change what you need to change to put in. If you don't want a section, you can just delete it. Don't worry about the gaps here. I mean, I'd tidy it up and get rid of that gap, but it doesn't matter. It won't affect your site to read it if it has got a gap there. But anyway, let's save that, and we knocked out a section from that pricing table, so this one should have one less section. Yep, as you see, it has. It's a little shorter than the rest. And obviously, conversely, if I do a Control Z, we can add a section. You can just copy one whole section here, hit return, paste it in there, write in whatever it is you want to talk about, and make sure you don't lop off those brackets. Do not lop off the brackets because it will not work. And save that, back to the site. Now this one should be a little longer. And again, for aesthetics, you kind of want to keep them the same, or perhaps if one's most popular, you can make it a little bit bigger. But anyway, that's the way to add or delete sections from that. But let's go back and show how to make that button link to our contact section. It's very easy. I'll just get rid of that so they're all the same size again. Okay, if you just look down a little further, you'll see that little A tag there, anchor tag, href. Now that's where you want it to go. And if we just put a hashtag contact. If you're not sure what I'm doing here, if we go up to the menu, where if we go back, so you see contact takes us down to the contact section. We want the same link as that, which is, if you look at it at the top, you're not sure what it is. If we go back to our menu section up at the top here, and you look for the contact, here's our menu section, and here's contact, and there's the href there. You see href equals, then open brackets, inverted commas there, hashtag contact. So we want our button to go to the same place as this, so we just put that same thing in there. So if we go back down, here's our href, so right there. Oh, excuse me, we were working on the one above. There it is, right there. Hashtag contact, the same as we've got up there. And a btn is a button class in Bootstrap. And again, you can write whatever you want there. Obviously keep it fairly short because it's got to fit inside that button. The button will expand with more letters, but you don't want to go crazy with it. So again, what don't we want to do? We don't want to clip off those little brackets there. So we'll do a save. Back to our pricing sheet, quick refresh. And as you can see, I changed the text to get started. Now let's see if that'll take us to our contact section. And there we are, just what we wanted to do. So look, moving on down. These are just heading tags. I mean, you can change that. You know how to do that. More images, more Facebook. Well, I'll show you how to get your links to your Facebook site there. That's not a problem. So let's go back to our brackets. Moving on down, presuming you've edited all your pricing things. And again, if you decide, well, I don't want a pricing section really, I don't need that, just select it from the top of the section right there. And they've kindly put a closing tag there. And just delete it. Hit delete on your keyboard, bang, gone. Ctrl S, save, back to the site. Now, and when we refresh, this section should be gone. There we go, it's going straight from there to our team section. Okay, and let's show you how to link to an external site like Facebook. So back to our brackets, I'm going to put that section back in, Ctrl Z to undo, there it is, and Ctrl S to save. Moving on down, here's the team section. And can you guess what those little icons were? That's right, they were font awesome. You see those little FAs there. And again, the patterns, each of those patterns corresponds to each of these little blocks here. And there's your href. That's where we want to put our link. So let me get a Facebook link a minute. Okay, here's my Facebook page, and all I'm going to do is copy the link up here. I've just clicked on it. I'm going to copy it, or you can select it that way, however you like to do it, and Control C. And if we go back to our brackets, all we do is paste it in between those inverted commas there. There it is right there. What we're going to do, because what that's going to do, well, I'll save and show you. Go to the site and refresh. Now we did that first one there, so now that little Facebook thing should take it to my Facebook site. And there we are, it's taking it straight there. But I don't know if you noticed or not, what that did was actually took us from our website and took us straight to Facebook in the same tab. Now, ideally, we want people to stay on our site and open a new tab with a Facebook. And to do that with an href, it's really easy. If we go back to our brackets, and just after the last inverted commas there, what we're going to do is give it a space, hit the letter T for target. See, select target there, and we want target blank. And there's the blank right there. Now if we save, and go back to our site, do a quick refresh. This time when we click on it, it should open it in a new tab. And there we are. There, it's opened it in a new tab, which is what we want. We really don't want people to leave our site if we can avoid it. Because the more time people spend on the site, the better it is. Moving on down, because of course, just repeat, rinse and repeat, as they say, and do what you want there for the rest of the boxes. Moving on down, text button, you know how to do all that. Image, you know how to do that. That's a slider. You know how to do that. Again, quotes. Again, that's just changing text. Let's go down the quote section just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be just changing text. Testimonials. Yeah, all you have to do is put in your testimonials from Google or wherever in there, or whatever you want to write in there. So you know how to do that. Okay, back. Oh, this section behind it, I don't know if you can see that very well. It's what they call a parallax section. It's 2000 by 600, which means the image is moving at a different rate from the foreground. The background image is moving at a different rate from the foreground image. And again, that's just replacing that image there, the 2000 by 600. If we go back to our brackets, here's our section right here. I imagine that's actually in the CSS file. We can soon find out if we go back to the site and hit the inspector button, or right click and hit inspect. That should show us that section there. And it's the testimonial section. When you hover over a section, it'll show you what you've got highlighted there. So when I go and select this, you see it's actually showed us what we got here. And that picture in the background is background image. It's in image testimonial background JPEG. So I'll just pause for a second. I'll just create a quick new image for that, 2000 by 600, just to show you what's going on there. Okay, so I've created my image, and it's we want to go to image, testimonial, images, testimonial background. So if we go to our images folder, there's the testimonial background right there. And let's pull in my new one. I've just called it plx.jpg. Now if we go back to our brackets and change the name to plx, I've actually got to open the CSS file to do this. So if we go back to cluster, I'm going to see CSS there. Style, that's the custom one that they've been using to build this. I just know that because I've built so many of these sites. These other things they're actually to do with, that's the Bootstrap generic. Font awesome, that's the font awesome styles, obviously, and that's the carousel styles and what have you. So if we just right click on that, open with brackets, and you think, oh my goodness, we've got all kind of junk going on here, I don't understand any of that. Well, let's have a look back at our site, and it's really easy to find it. There it is. It says style CSS line 707. So it's found it for you. So let's go down to line 707. Hopefully we should find it. Here we go. There it is. And okay, so I just need to change that to PLX and do a save. Control S and back to our site. Let's get rid of the inspector there. Just close it out. And let's do a refresh. Now our picture's in the background there. You see it scrolling at a different rate. Nice little parallax effect there. Okay, so that's how to do that. Is that a live counter there? Yeah, it's a live counter. Again, these are font awesomes. We'll just take a look at that. Let's just change some out of. It's just below the testimonial, back to our index HTML file for a change. Okay, and here's the fun fact. Here are the numbers. So let's change that and just put 1,000 in front of it and see what happens here. And let's put new cars. Okay, and quick save. Now that should change now to 1,364, and that should say new cars. There we go. And of course that's font awesome there. You know how to do that. So I'm not going to change that. Let's see what's next. Now we're down to the contact us form. And again, it's just changing out the text here, which you know how to do. Now you want to bear in mind this will not work until you've got it uploaded to a live server or a machine that's got PHP working on it. You know, it won't send anything. It'll go through, you know, fill it out, but it won't send an email unless you're on a live server. So just bear that in mind. It will work once you upload it to your live server. But what I'll do is I'll show you how to change where it gets sent to. And to do that, we need to open the PHP file that's included with this site here. So let's go back to our folder with our site folder. Now there, you see it says PHP there. That's the form I was talking about, send and contact. And again, if we right click, we'll open it with our brackets. And again, I'm sure it looks like absolute Greek to all of us, but they've been really good with this site. They've even told us where to put it, replace with your email. So this is where you want to put the email that you want the form to be sent to, which is probably your own email. Be careful, don't lop off that little inverted comma there, just do in between the two there. So it's sort of me at mysite.com. So once it's live on the server, once you've saved this and uploaded that file, all emails from this site will be sent there. Now this is the thank you for your contact us, blah blah blah. This is the message that will be displayed once it's sent. So again, you can change that to whatever you want it to say. You know, thanks for contacting you. Thanks for contacting us. Whatever you want it to say there. Again, just make sure you do not lop off those little inverted commas there. Just fill in the blanks in between. Control S to save. That is it. Like I say, this will not work because I'm on my local machine here, and once we've uploaded it to an online server, that's got PHP running on it, it'll work. It'll send this form and it'll fill out these, you know, when people fill out these fields, you'll get an email saying, giving you their name, email, blah, 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 etc. Again, all this you can change with text. Those little ditties there, font awesome, you know how to do that. Again, at the bottom, this is just the footer here. Links, font awesome, and text, you know how to do that. Let's just go in there for a second. And here's the footer, so you want to change that to whatever your details happen to be. And again, what do we want to be careful to do? Don't lop off the little arrows at the end there. So let's change that to 17. For those that are wondering, that and copy semicolon is the copyright sign. And when you're writing text, for instance, up here, if you wanted to say and consecutor, or whatever that says, that's going to be red because it's throwing up. Text editors don't like the ampersand, so you have to write it as an amp semicolon. That's the proper way to stick an and sign in there. You've got to say and amp semicolon. It will work, but it may, in some browsers, it may throw up a little error code there. Okay, so my site's wrapped in a what they call an A tag, an href, so we can send people wherever you want them to go. I mean, we can send them to Google if you want. It really doesn't matter. You can put external links, you can put internal links with a hashtag to the sections. Like I showed you earlier on, let's just get an external tag. Let's get my website tag, I suppose. Now I'm just going to copy that href there. Back to the brackets. And in between the two inverted commas there it is. And again, what do we want to do? Well, I suggest you do, I'm going to put target blank, purely because that way they keep the site open as well as going to the new target there. So quick save there. Back to our site. Quick refresh. There we are. Blah blah blah. My site. Now that should open my website in a new tab there, which it does. Let's close those down. So that's it really. That's a quick overview of how to edit a Bootstrap template if you download one, for those of you that don't know. One other thing I'll just show you quickly. See this background color here? See what that is. Again, right click and inspect, or F12 or whatever you want, however you like to do it. Okay, so that background color is F5. I mean, the good thing about the inspector, you can go in there and you can change colors just by double clicking on stuff, and it's non-destructive. This won't actually change anything once you hit that refresh button again. It'll be exactly the same again. So if we change that to black, you know, you can experiment just to see how things are gonna look. So let's find a nice little blue color. We'll make sure it's got that hashtag on the beginning there. And let's change that to blue now. Okay, so let's just make a quick note of that color. Presuming we like it. I mean, it's any old color really. I haven't put any thought into this. And refresh the browser a minute and see what the original color was. Okay, there's the original color. If I just copy that. I'm just making a note of my two colors. I've got a little notepad open here. That's the new color, that's the old color. Unless your memory is probably a lot better than mine, you can remember those nice hex numbers or those letters and numbers. Now if we go to our style CSS, we can replace everything everything that was this color, let's get rid of the inspector there, like that, and this, and that. We can change everything with one quick go. Let's get our brackets again. Now we've got our style CSS here, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to find, and we're going to go to replace, and I'm going to put the original color in there, which was the F5, F5, F5. Well, I did remember it. Okay, and then we want to replace it with our new color, which is that C9 color. Oh, I didn't remember that. That's what it is. We're going to use the batch replace, because if we use the replace, it'll just replace them one at a time. And we want to replace the whole lot, so we're going to use batch. And I'm just going to hit replace. And now that's replaced all those instances of that color in our style CSS. Now if I hit save, Ctrl S, and back to our site and refresh. Now we haven't got any here where we're looking. Oh yes we have, look, it's turned that blue, and everything else that was the grey colour, it should have turned it blue, and there we go. And there we go, and there we go. So there you have it. That's an easy way of changing those colours, or all colours, with one fell swoop with your CSS there. So that's the way to edit a Bootstrap template. I hope you found this useful. Like I say, that was a very quick overview, but it should give you an idea of how to do it. If you're interested in building websites, please take our Bootstrap website building course, where we go into great detail about how to edit templates of all types. And you'll be able to download templates and build them into sites that you can sell to your customers for a lot of money. So anyway, once again, this has been Jamie from System 22. I hope you've enjoyed this. Bye-bye now.